Soldier Boy seems like an unstoppable tank, but he's not. Many heroes and villains could absolutely destroy him in a fight, and today I'm breaking down every single one from each major universe. Until proven otherwise, let's get the elephant out of the room. There's nobody from his home of the Boys universe that could beat him or kill him. Every loss Soldier Boy has faced in the Boys has been situational. He's roughly on par with Homelander, and if Victoria Newman couldn't blow up Homelander's head, it's safe to say that she couldn't do that to Soldier Boy. If I'm gonna give you examples of who could kill Benjamin, we'll have to get creative and look at a much more dangerous universe. Their contemporaries on Amazon, Invincible. Off the bat, I think a real close fight would be between Soldier Boy and someone such as the Immortal. The man who is possibly Abraham Lincoln is someone who got practically manhandled by Omni-Man. A lot of people who have analyzed the Immortal tend to think his perfect fight would be against someone like Homelander. Immortal has super strength and speed and durability, but it's all much more to scale of something like the Boys universe. Omni-Man shoved his hand through Immortal. Soldier Boy could keep up with Homelander, and more likely than not, he could keep up with the Immortal, but Immortal has the endurance. That superhero endurance that seems more cartoonish than anything, and also he can't die. If given enough time to wear down Soldier Boy, he would manage to kill him, but it wouldn't be easy and it wouldn't be close. There are other people from the show that could be or kill Soldier Boy. Specifically, Invincible himself. Mark Grayson of Invincible fame is currently gearing up to enter his 4th season, and with how his 3rd season has panned out, he's strong. Having fended off alternate universe versions of himself and taken a swing at Big Bad Conquest, Mark has amped up his game in ways nobody could have ever seen coming. As a Viltrumite, he has super strength, ample levels of endurance, he can fly, and he has super hearing. Throwing down with Soldier Boy, whose powers are to scale of the realistic and gritty Boys universe, would prove a fascinating prospect. There isn't much in terms of any battle, as Soldier Boy's biggest advantages are his crazy levels of endurance and his nuclear blast. Though the nuclear blast only really burns Compound V out of someone who is hit with it. Invincible is an all-natural super being, the powers that he possesses are in his DNA, so there isn't much hope. Invincible could very handily beat Soldier Boy's head into a paste and fly away with a victory. Invincible could kill Soldier Boy, it just may take a bit due to Ben's endurance. Moving on though, within the same universe that Robert Kirkman has crafted, we have that of Omni-Man. By the end of season 3, Omni-Man is a pristine fighter and his powers are arguably as ample as they can get. He has everything Mark possesses, but he also has a much more superior level of combat experience, something that Soldier Boy wouldn't even be able to evade, let alone contend with. While Soldier Boy does have your standard military experience and combat experience, Omni-Man has an extraterrestrial experience unfamiliar to Soldier Boy. Soldier Boy would be absolutely dominated by the man voiced by J.K. Simmons. Omni-Man kills Soldier Boy, and it isn't even close. Next up in the wonderfully weird list of everyone killing Soldier Boy, Adam Eve is someone else in the realm of Invincible who could absolutely kick Soldier Boy up, down, left, and right. With Eve's ability to transform matter, there's nothing that means she couldn't stop Soldier Boy's nuclear blast. Her endurance is impeccable, and her essential immortality means it's no sweat to fear death. There is always the chance that he could eat hits that Eve would throw at him, but when push comes to shove, Adam Eve would topple Soldier Boy, and I'd go as far as arguing she'd humiliate him because while Omni-Man or Invincible would be a power set he's familiar with, the things Eve can do are fascinatingly unique to her. He wouldn't see any of it coming. He would be forced to rely on the hope that he could just tank any hits she throws at him. That's enough for Invincible though. Let's see somewhere else. DC Comics is something I admittedly know a lot more than I should. Instead of playing a sport, I can candidly tell you each and every person from Detective Comics that could kill Soldier Boy. Though that'd take too long, so I'll just tell you a couple of the heroes who could topple Vought's original Golden Child. Patrick O'Brien is someone I consider to be a massively underrated DC character. The superhero known as Plastic Man is something the Boys universe would know well as a concept. He was a criminal who got stretchy elastic powers and turned over a new leaf. He has shape-shifting abilities, superhuman elasticity, he's essentially immortal, and he is one of the funniest characters I've ever read. I'm a big fan of Plastic Man. Could he contend with Soldier Boy? Yes. Or else he probably wouldn't be on my list here. One of Plastic Man's only weaknesses is extreme cold temperatures. Other than that, he is an impressive force, and there's no clear sign that Soldier Boy could pull and tear the massively elastic O'Brien. Plastic Man has been shown to have the ability to stretch his limbs in strange ways and would be more than capable to send his limbs into the openings in Soldier Boy's body. For example, sliding a finger straight through something like Ben's ear or nose and just put pressure on his brain. He's a frightening and definitely deadly opponent, and he's on the weaker side of DC folks that could topple Soldier Boy. A Green Lantern is someone who possesses the ability to conquer fear. Their willpower is so great that they've been trusted to be a protector and essentially a space cop. You could take any Green Lantern, Guy Gardner, Hal Jordan, John Stewart, the Skrull Green Lantern. You could take any one of them and pin them in a fight with Soldier Boy, and it'd be an interesting fight. The Boys universe isn't something that's shown energy constructs to be a thing. They've got speedsters, Superman equivalents, gross realistic Spider-Man guys, but the closest thing they've got to a Green Lantern equivalent is a lamplighter. His gimmicks are mostly pyrotechnics. An energy construct made from pure willpower is something Soldier Boy would have no experience taking on. Trying to break them with his fists would eventually prove fruitless, as even Superman needs to take a few swings to make a dent in any of them. A Green Lantern would be able to keep his distance and use his lantern powers to just grab Ben by the legs and throw him around like that scene in Avengers when Hulk ragdolls Loki. It ain't something that'd be a challenge for the Lantern Corps. I have another DC hero of note though, a certain Dark Knight. Batman is someone who may not have the powers of someone like Plastic Man to keep himself safe, but he definitely has the resources. All the technology in his possession means Batman has several solutions for the dangers that any Superman can present to him. Soldier Boy would be no exception. With the likes of the Hellbat armor in his possession, a suit which was forged by the hands of several major members of the Justice League so Bruce could contend with real villains, he has the capability to win. Soldier Boy is a superhero to the scale of a real nitty-gritty universe of heroes. For all intents and purposes, a lot of the heroes are weak on the grand scale, and someone like Batman has prepared for much more dangerous foes. His Hellbat armor would win him in a fight, and if needed, though against his beliefs, he could kill Soldier Boy. That's not all for DC though. Wonder Woman, also known as Diana of the Themyscira, is the princess of the Amazons. Whether she's an actual birth or she's crafted by clay depends on her origin story more than anything, but man, she has super strength, durability, and essentially just a goddess. If she were to cross paths like the likes of Ben or Soldier Boy, it would be a wash. She has the superior strength, as her feats include taking on the likes of Doomsday or other world-ending threats that would be inconceivable in the boys' universe. While Soldier Boy can take a beating from the best of them in his universe, there is a point of no return. Something like Butcher's heat vision was enough to draw some blood, so it's evident there's a point where his body can't handle enough damage, and that point would come about sooner than later with Diana. Not to mention, if she managed to capture him with her lasso of truth, there isn't much hope for Soldier Boy to escape the Amazonian's grasp. Diana pops Soldier Boy like a grape and kills him. She's not the last DC example I want to give you though. That honor goes to Superman, the perennial man of tomorrow. It's not like we all don't know what his powers are. The classic rundown is he is faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, and he can leap tall buildings in a single bound. Though by now he can fly, have laser vision, and more stuff. If Butcher's faux heat vision from 10V could scrape Soldier Boy, the power of Superman is more than capable to just laser his head off. Superman could lift Soldier Boy and toss him clear into space if he chose to do so. The nuclear blast is probably his best bet with Superman, but considering a lot of what Superman has endured, I wouldn't think the Man of Steel would feel anything other than a tickle. The last bit of DC that I'll give you is that Superman would simply murder Soldier Boy. But without DC, where else can we look to for some winners? The other major player in the superhero comic universe is that of Marvel Comics, home to its own heavy hitters of superheroes and home to many who could beat Soldier Boy in a fight, starting with my favorite web slinger, Spider-Man. For the sake of clarity, I'm running with Peter in this case. Spider-Man is a battle which would prove very complicated for both men involved. Spider-Man's spider sense can anticipate a lot of what's thrown at him, but he wouldn't entirely know what to do with someone who can essentially blow himself up. Ben has shown feats of strength that put him very much in line with the sort of villain Spider-Man comes across. You could picture a fight between Soldier Boy and the Rhino, and it makes sense because they're both extremely strong humans. I think Spider-Man would have the advantage in a fight with Soldier Boy due to his strength, but it'd be hard on Peter for the fear of the civilian harm Soldier Boy could cause. Spider-Man would approach the fight like he would any other battle, maybe a bit overconfident till Soldier Boy really shows what he can do, but they're in a fight that I could argue sounds possible. The evil Captain America looking guy taking on our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Eventually, the victory would go to Spider-Man, who has managed to lift crumbling buildings and stop whole trains, while Soldier Boy can be overwhelmed by a couple of standard soups in his universe. The stronger of the two survives. Continuing on pulling from the world of Marvel, I think it's clear as day that Hulk could wreck Soldier Boy. When someone begins to outclass Soldier Boy's ace in the hole is the fact that he is a walking bomb. The energy that can be exuded from Ben is his biggest asset, and it's essentially useless against the Hulk. Hulk being created from the likes of a gamma bomb and being this gamma radiation being would mean something like Soldier Boy's blast is just not effective against him. He would have no issues just lifting Soldier Boy up and squeezing him to death. Or, depending on the kind of Hulk you're watching and reading, he may also lift Soldier Boy and bite his head off. Hulk is one of the most violent there is. Another example from Marvel of someone who could easily handle Soldier Boy is that of Thor. The God of Thunder has powers that would seem incomprehensible to that of the World War II veteran Soldier Boy. Thor, in full honesty, could take Mjolnir and drop it on Ben, and that would just keep him held down. Thor could also take Mjolnir and throw it at Soldier Boy's head and take it clean off, as Ben's endurance is to the scale of the boys' universe, and Thor has godlike endurance and strength. He is on a level no character in the boys could picture. From the movie Megamind, the likes of Metro Man comes to mind in terms of someone to contest Soldier Boy. Metro Man as a character is like reinventing Superman for your own show. He's got all the powers you'd expect him to have. The difference? He's massively overpowered. His speed is nothing short of comedic because he's so fast. Time essentially stops. He's so strong that nothing really hurts him. His baseline is never truly figured out, so it isn't out of the question to think that Metro Man could super speed his way to Soldier Boy, flick his head off with his super strength, and go on to write some musical jingle. It's not even a joke. Metro Man would throw Soldier Boy like a football, and it isn't even close. He's not the only Superman-inspired character that would demolish Soldier Boy. Phenomenon from the fantastic game Dispatch is more than capable of just ending Soldier Boy. If you had to take his methods extreme, he confidently made the claim that he could drain all of the energy from the sun. He wouldn't ever need to actually lay a hand on Soldier Boy. He'd just have to plunge the earth in darkness and Soldier Boy would freeze to death. Soldier Boy can take a beating, but the elements are still the elements in the hand. There is also the fact that there isn't a clear baseline for Phenomenon's endurance and strength. He could very well be much stronger than anyone anticipates. His claims of being able to drain the sun imply an ability to breathe in space that Soldier Boy wouldn't possess. He could bring Ben clear into the stars and watch him suffocate. Not a hard fight for Phenomenon in any case. Superhero worlds aren't the only places that have everybody that could kill Soldier Boy. In the world of anime, there are several figures which could kill Soldier Boy and deserves a spot on the list because to make this accurate, everyone should be factored in, right? Goku, a Saiyan raised on Earth who has ascended further beyond, whether it's Super Saiyan 2, 3, 4, God, or anything further beyond. He is the most powerful being of his respective universe. The kind of martial arts experience that he presents and the sort of combat prowess he can offer is unmatched and something Soldier Boy wouldn't be able to compete with. Coupled with that, if Soldier Boy were to get one solid nuclear blast off, it would more than likely be overpowered by the Kamehameha, a beam crafted from concentrated life force and something that has been seen to be blasted from any necessary situation without as much charge up as Soldier Boy would need. Goku would sweep Soldier Boy and it isn't even close. He's not the only one though. In the most one-sided battle Soldier Boy could possibly face, someone such as Naruto, specifically at the very end of his original run in Naruto Shippuden, would murder Soldier Boy where he stands. Being able to harness the Nine-Tails Fox to its maximum potential and using its chakra, it'd just be an easy win for an inspirational hero. Though seeing Soldier Boy be obliterated by Rasen Shuriken would be pretty funny. Naruto wins even with a hand tied behind his back if he really wanted. If you enjoyed this video, click the other video on screen to see more.